Anybody joining this chat. Politics, or when you're in the media space, I should say. And they're always like, this isn't your hill to die on. You probably get this all the time in life, even if you're not in media. Like, well, that's not really your hill to die on. Like, just give an example here. Like, if it's a topic and there's Republican infighting, don't get involved in it. This isn't your hill to die on. And like recently, though, like I actually kind of envisioned the hill to die on. Like, have you ever just seen a hill and been like, no, actually, like I think that might be my hill. Like the sun is shining, the grass is green, it's nice and cool at night. I feel like I have seen my hill in the distance at the age of 35 years old. Like I've picked the perfect hill that I know that I would die comfortably on. And that hill for me is pedophilia. Like that for me is like, and I thought, by the way, I was living in a world, I guess in my mind, a space in my mind, where I thought that's like the one thing we all agreed on across the board. Like whether you're what race you are, what religion you are, it doesn't matter what country you're from, what your sexual orientation is. Like we all agree, like the rape of children and minors is not something that we're ever going to defend. And then I realized, obviously, because of some things in my life, that there was actually people out there defending pedophilia. And it wasn't people like a random person that, I don't know, maybe was locked up in prison for 10 years for pedophilia. It was powerful people in media that were essentially falling over themselves to protect pedophiles. And so I had to come to a decision like, am I going to be okay with this and shut up and just go along with a thing? Or am I going to actually speak out about this topic? And for me, as I said, that hill in the distance, like, couldn't care less. I have 3 kids on the topic of pedophilia. My mind is very clear on this. So let me just tell you what happened yesterday, because I really think it's just amazing that today happens to be like, this is such a God wink at me in the universe that all of this transpired this week. I did not know, but it was Mary Fagan, the young 13-year-old Catholic girl who was horrifically raped and murdered by Leo Frank. We're going to get to that. But let me just tell you. So I did my podcast with Tristan Tate, and then Andrew Tate released a podcast for Tristan Tate, and like the Zionist media, they're all colluding with each other, sending each other messages, and they're watching every minute of my show. And whenever I reveal something that they don't like, they then try to, like, all at the same time be like, oh my God, Candace said something that I definitely didn't say. Like I definitely didn't say it. And so you saw people, Constantine kissing, the fat Malaysian kid that's on Twitter, and you just all saying the exact same thing at once. That's how like the network works, right? Bzzz, whatever. And I don't really care. That doesn't bother me at all. Then I go over to Instagram, and there's a group, I've never even heard of it, Jewish on Campus. Apparently it's a 501c3 nonprofit. And I kid you not, they post this. I'm just going to read you directly what it said, past tense. Candace Owens says Judaism is a pedophile-centric religion that worships Baphomet and believes in demons and child sacrifice, and is the reason that we have the circumstances that we are in today. Okay, that's news to me. Now, I am a Christian. So for me to make that statement that Judaism is a pedophile-centric religion would mean that I believe the Torah condones pedophilia. And of course, that cannot be the case because I am a Christian. And so those first books in my Bible are relevant. But of course, they knew I didn't say that. The point is that they had the audacity to lie. And then they know that we have a bunch of midwits who will instantly believe a frozen post and then tag me a bunch of times and be like, oh my God, she's really gone crazy. I'm not getting the comment section. I'm going to drop this in the thread after. It was like, she's going through a postpartum psychosis. We're going to get to that too, like the categorizing of women of having a psychosis, because it's kind of actually relevant to what I actually said. So I'm going through this and I write under them like, why would you? And of course, there's no video because when they lie, they just lie so boldly. It's like, it's just amazing to be a person in society that gets to pretend they're being the victim as they're punching you in the face, right? Like literally, like I'm punching Candace in the face while I'm screaming out that I'm the victim. That's Jewish on campus, right? And so I instantly commented, I'm like, I never said this, produce the video. They don't care. I say nothing. And so I just felt a little bit different about it yesterday. And I said to my lawyers, send them a letter, because I know how this works, right? Oh, defamation, you're a public figure. It's very high. It's a high bar, But here's the thing. You got to take people through the court system, and through that court system you get to go through discovery. And I actually kind of want to discover who these little pedophile defending pigs are that are constantly passing around messages, because what they're doing, and why I say pedophile defending pigs, is what I actually said in the episode, which I've been talking about on my podcast a lot, and I will tell you why it hits a button here, is that Sigmund Freud was a pedophile. because he was a pedophile. And his father was a pedophile, and he created psychoanalysis because Jewish women were coming in to see him and saying that their dads raped them when they were children. And because he was part of the pedophile elite, he created psychoanalysis as a means to essentially gaslight these women, say that they were hysterical, that they were crazy, and also the favored child psychosis thing, like, oh no, you're just a child that is harboring sexual attraction for your dad. Okay, now how did this get exposed? Because a Jewish man, a brave Jewish man from Harvard, who became the director of the Freud archives many years, many moons ago, learned to speak German, read through Sigmund Freud's letters, and then was like, oh my God, I'm ringing the alarm here. Like, actually, this guy is deranged, and he was protecting his pedophile friends. And what happened to that guy? The full media started smearing him. He ended up going to war with the New Yorker, or New York Magazine, I think it was the New Yorker, for 10 years of his life, millions and millions of dollars trying to get his name back. Because as I said, the Zionist media routinely defends pedophiles. Pedophiles, sexual deviants, they protect them. So you go, now, why is that? Why would that be a thing? Why would they defend Sigmund Freud? Not only Sigmund Freud and his daddy and everybody, all of his friends, were they pedophiles? Magnus Hirschfeld was in that circle out there. But beyond that, his grandson, who was knighted, Clement Freud, in the UK, discovered he was a pedophile. Look this up. It's like they're still like it's still pedophilia in that family, and the story is horrific. The woman who he raped, one of the women was like, I approached him and was like, "Why'd you rape me?" And he was like, "Because I love you. Like I had to do that to your kid because I love you." Okay, that's the Freud family who created the modern psychology movement, psychoanalysis, creative psychoanalysis. And his nephew is in charge of all the propaganda. Was Edward Bernays all the propaganda in America? So how does that make you feel? It should make you feel good. You should be understanding, obviously, that that family still has a ton of power. The Freud family actually married into the Rupert Murdoch family. Like Elizabeth Murdoch married Matthew Freud, who runs the biggest PR firm in the UK. Probably a lot of the reasons also that I'm getting hit. So we've got a problem here. Okay, we've got a problem here when people can't and are still trying to defend pedophiles from the past. If they're defending the pedophiles from the past, which brings me to the ADL today, the audacity, of course, no comments allowed in the post, of still trying to cleanse the name of Leo Frank. Okay, it's stunning, absolutely stunning. Like you mean just an avalanche of proof that he, as the lead of the factory, the president of the factory, president of B'nai B'rith, however the F you say that organization, ruthlessly raped and murdered a 13-year-old girl. The other girls testified. There were Jews that were on the jury. Okay. The evidence was so overwhelming, despite the fact that he tried to hang it. This is like 1913 Atlanta. He was like, this poor janitor did it. Okay. And the evidence was overwhelming that Leo Frank did it, that they were like, listen, dog, we love to lynch a black person. Honestly, we do this just like on the reg, but like we can't this one. We actually can't. And so when they tell you this little story to understand how powerful the ADL is, they were literally born out of that president. He was the B'nai B'rith organization. B'nai B'rith was also the organization that Sigmund Freud was in. So we're starting to like connect the dots here on all of these little pedos, okay? And so they were born, and then they realized that they would just create mass hysteria, a form of yellow journalism, call everything anti-Semitic anytime their pedophiles get caught. And boy, oh boy, have they been keeping up with that name. Now, I want to be very clear here because a lot of people go, oh, well, it's the Jews, right? You hear that a lot. It's the Jews. Judaism is a religion, okay? If you are not, in my view, practicing Judaism, you're not a Jew, okay? So that is why I say this is not the Jews. The religion they are practicing, they are not deeming the Torah as their holy book, okay? What these people are and the religion that they practice is something that is known as Frankism. Now, this gets into why those girls who run the little campus group that got legal letter from Candace Owens and was like, F you, I want to go to court, and then they deleted the posts, and I'm still not cool with them deleting the posts. I'm still pretty fired up about it because I don't like liars. And more than that, I hate pedophiles and those that would defend them. Okay. They were upset because on my show, I have been exposing a religious cult that is known as Frankism. Okay. Founder of that was Jacob Frank. Before him, it takes on a different name kind of every century. So first it was a religion that was known as Shabbachianism, okay? And then it was Jacob Frank. So that was the 17th century that it was Jacob Frank, known as Frankism. They practiced incest, pedophilia. You can look this up all by yourself, okay? They consider them to be their sacraments. They had sexual rituals. And yes, they killed people. So let's fast forward now to the ADL and recognizing that Jacob Frank, who established his religion, a descendant of his was Leo Frank. Leo Frank was so effing wealthy. His wife was a descendant of the Loeb Cohn banking family, and his family, the Franks, had married into the Rothschilds family. They're trying to convince you that ADL, okay, Mary Fagan, a little 13-year-old poor girl, gets ruthlessly Catholic girl, okay, gets ruthlessly married in some sort of a sexual ritual. Oh, so blood libel. This is one of the ADL's terms, but it's a blood libel. If we get caught raping and killing a girl, we're just gonna pretend that we are Jewish and that they're only attacking us because we're Jews. That's the whole move. They're mining the educational training that we get into a classroom when we think of the Holocaust, and they're expecting people that actually do follow the Torah to raise up and to not ask questions and to believe that everything they're saying is true. So they're playing people that are actually Jews while at the same time protecting the pedophile elites. They do this over and over again. That's what the ADL exists for. They absolutely hate Catholics because Catholics know that this shit has been going on forever, okay? Many moons ago, before they decided to establish Israel as a country. I know you've read like the short version in the classroom, and it was like, oh, the Holocaust happened, and then we realized that Israel needs a state. No, that's not how it went down. That's not how it went down at the F all, okay? Catholics and Christians were going missing on Passover, and then they would find bodies, okay, across Europe, and they were able to trace them back to Jews. Blood libel, they weren't Jews, okay? These were Frankists. And so just like Leo Frank killed Mary Fagan on Passover back in 1913 or 1914, I can't remember the exact date, he did it during Passover for a reason. This Frankist cult, which is masquerading behind Jews, still participates in this shit to this day, okay? Now, I'm fired up about this because like I just read a book by another Jewish guy named Kenneth Anger called Hollywood Babylon. And in this book, which was banned in the United States in 1965, this guy just I don't know what happened. He just starts spilling the beans and everything that they've done in Hollywood, and he starts talking about how these German pedophiles, think of the German-speaking pedophiles like the Sigmund Freud and co, B'nai B'rith and co, whatever you want to call them and co, started Hollywood and did the same thing. Like they would literally just they were pedophiles, they were raping people, they were killing people, they were the Jewish gangsters that came over from Germany after they had tried to overthrow Prussia in 1848. The 1848ers established Hollywood, and like he just starts laying it all out. Like one guy literally died in a sex act with a young boy. Like literally, the director died that way, and they just kept bringing him over from Germany slowly and slowly and slowly. And what they would do after they killed people or after they were caught, being pedophiles, is they would then just like yellow journalism. Like they would basically be like the public, if you just feed them so much information, like the Paramount boys, like literally shot a guy like before the cops got there, came in, dealt with the body, and then just started yellow journalism, like what we saw for the John Benet Ramsey case. Like it could be this guy, it could be that guy. It's all game of clue. Oh, it's this guy in the kitchen with the knife. He did it because then people are seized by the press. They're seized by the articles. They're consuming so much information that there's no information. I mean, there's a story in that book about how William Randolph Hearst just like straight up shot a guy, Tom Ince, on his boat. He thought it was Charlie Chaplin and it was somebody else. And he got the press to not even cover it. Like he just shot somebody, killed him, paid off his wife, and the press was none the better for it because he was controlling stuff. This is what is happening today. It's never stopped, okay? We are existing right now in a Zionist media empire, which is working to protect criminals. That is what's happening, is a criminal syndicate that is being protected. And it is the same mechanisms as discussed in that Kenneth Anger book of blackmail, coercion. I mean, you guys, is anybody processing like Rabbi Shmuley? Does anybody think Rabbi Shmuley's like a victim? Like, is anybody buying that like he's like a victim and he's not a thug who goes around threatening people's lives? Is anybody buying like that like Michael Jackson was really being just anti-Semitic when he said that Rabbi Shmuley was on a list of 6 people, 6 Jews in Hollywood that were trying to ruin his life? Is anybody like thinking now that you're looking at Rabbi Shmuley tweeting and his daughter and the 2-year harassment campaign of me, we're coming for you, we're coming for your job, that you're looking at like a class of victims? Oh, like show of hands. Like, are you just like, no, like definitely, like these, like obviously, this is the victims. They're victim, even when they're lying and smearing and libeling and killing. they're victims. Like anybody buying that shit anymore. And here's what frustrates me the most. And I'm sorry, I'm just on one today because I am so sick of the cowardice. Okay. I shouldn't even say it frustrates me. It just downright just makes me realize how much we have lost what it means to be a real man in society. The fact that I am a woman, okay, and I am the person that is saying this, okay, the fact that there are so many conservative commentators who pretend that they're so brave because they're talking about like what happened in the latest Trump thing, blah blah, and then on the topic of pedophilia, their mom, okay, I should not be the only one calling out how many times Zionists defend pedophiles and criminals. This is not normal, okay? Why does Israel allow pedophiles from America to flee and receive protection from their state? Why are we, the country that's funding their bullshit, okay, not allowed to extradite our pedophiles? Okay, does anybody have an answer? I don't know, show hands. Anybody like, oh no, that's totally normal. It makes total sense. Like, Candace, even asking the question is anti-Semitic. Like, no, guys, there's like a problem here that we can't get our pedophiles back from a nation that we've given billions of dollars to. That doesn't make sense. Why would you want, as a small nation that is the size of New Jersey, okay, why would you want the pedophiles to flee there? Like, why would you want the pedophiles to be procreating? Unless the nation of Israel may have been established by some Frankists. And it's looking like Theodore Herzl's family was from the exact same area in Moravia and in Bohemia where the Frankist cult was founded. Crazy, crazy. When you get into his family, that like maybe Theodore Herzl, who wrote in a book that he didn't care how many Jews had to die for him to get the state of Israel, like maybe he was not actually a Torah worshiping Jew. Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing out some ideas here. And by throwing out some ideas, I mean, I've read a ton of books and I've figured it out. Okay. I am just like so over the idea that Israel is our ally and friend. If another person says that stupid statement, I'm going to personally punch you in the face. I am. It's going to be me. That's a joke. Don't take this video off of Twitter. Wink. But like, I cannot stand the people that sound like bots, the spineless cowards, and I'm calling out all of you men, everybody who has a check mark and also has a penis and has not said anything about Israel protecting pedophiles or has said the statement like, our friend and ally, and but can't justify a statement. I'm talking specifically to you. So if you're sitting there wondering, you're like, hey, I have a check mark and I'm a guy and I have a penis and I've never said, I'm talking to you. Yeah, it's definitely you. Like I'm talking directly to you, okay? So we've got this friend and ally, and we're not allowed to ask questions about JFK's shooting or the USS Liberty. Yeah. The Mossad there on the day that JFK was shot. The arguments that he was having in the days preceding with their prime minister, still classified. Okay, we're never going to know what they were arguing about. And then Jacob Rubenstein shoots the guy who said he didn't shoot the guy. Do you have a question about that, you anti-Semite? Don't come at me. Don't even I don't even want to hear questions. We're not allowed to even speak about the USS Liberty. The fact that like after October 7th, they jammed through a bill in Congress, okay? And they were like, we must have an October 7th day of remembrance in school. Kids must learn about this in school. And we can't get one for the USS Liberty. Okay, that means your nation is being held hostage by a foreign power. Yeah. So part of that Jacob Frank religion, the reason why they wanted to commit the act of pedophilia was because he believed that like if you were willing to commit that sin, you would do anything else. His theory was I'm going to like Jacob's ladder, bring you to the bottom, to the abyss, get you to do the most immoral things only to lift you back up. And it immediately creates camaraderie among the group of pedophiles because all of them have done this horrific thing. So basically they're like, in order to like get into this religion, you have to rape a child. Okay. And so you have people that are willing to do that. Okay. That are in this religion, a religion who the first Jewish Supreme Court justice, look this up, Louis Brandeis, was a Frankist on his profile. He kept a photo of Jacob Frank's daughter. Like he was an open Frankist family that has made it to the Supreme Court. But I guess we can't ask any questions. He was also a Zionist. Every single time, these people that are committing crimes are also Zionists. And it would be cool if, like, I'd be in a different place, by the way, about this. Every religion has people that are corrupt and immoral, right? But we don't defend them. We don't expect them to be defended by the press. We don't have an entire ecosystem. And he believed in homosexuality and incest, all this stuff, who's protecting those people who are still, their descendants are still in positions of power. That is what makes this unique. So no, okay, I'm not gonna be like all of the other fake conservatives. Like, oh, I'm so brave. I'm talking about this issue, but on pedophilia, I'm just gonna be like, not my hill. If that's not your hill, we don't effing need you in this country. We don't need you in this country. Do you think it's normal, by the way, that basically every person who speaks about Israel has to basically say a statement that's like, I don't want to get killed? like literally, you start speaking about it, people are like, Candace, beef up your security. That's not fucking normal. Like, excuse my language, but like that is not normal. Okay, it's not normal that people have to think about their security because, and by the way, it's not normal that then the way that you get comfortable with it is you're like, well, they shot JFK in an open car, so there's not. I mean, he's a sitting president. I mean, obviously, my security doesn't really matter. If they want me, they're going to get me. That's not a normal thought process to have. We don't have that about any other country in the world, except for the one that took over ours, and that's the truth. Okay, we are an occupied nation, and if it's going to take women like having to speak up and say that to make permission, like to give permission to men to do the same, then I'm happy to be the first person. Okay. I just want to be clear. Anything happens to me, blame the Zionists. Like 1000% blame the Zionists. Like let that be my parting words. Okay. The more you look into their little network of psychopaths, they all collude with each other. Just so you know, the Zionists on the right are the same as the Zionists on the left. And it should be an easy litmus test for you guys. Like, speak to any commentator. If they are not willing to condemn Israel, if they say they're our friend and ally, and you ask a question about their defense of pedophiles, about Louis Brandeis, about all of these Zionists, Anna Freud, the Sigmund Freud family, they have like a Tel Aviv University whole thing dedicated to them. If they're unwilling to say that, just don't support them. It's that easy. I'm not going to become the person. Like Andrew Tate said something that really stuck with me. He was just like, you know, at the end of the day, they're just going to rape your kids last. Like, you're either going to be a person who dies on the hill for something that you believe in, or you're going to be the person that sits around and you do nothing until the snake wraps around you and squeezes out your family last. I mean, that's the truth. That's where we're at right now. And I'm like, I would rather die on the hill. Like, I just want to be able to pick the hill and die on it. And that hill for me is pedophilia. All of these homosexuals that are engaging in pedophilia. I mean, openly for France. I mean, what the heck is going on in this world right now? And this is what happens when good men do nothing. We have a bunch of good men. I know these people. I know these men. They do nothing, and they do it because they're scared. They're scared to lose their jobs. They don't do anything because they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to lose their security, and they think that by being a man and not saying it's like to not say anything. And I just completely disagree with that. So, anyways, like I said, if I get killed, it's definitely Zionist. I guess I'll open up the stage. I mean, some people are requesting. Does this work? Who's Matthew? Okay. Mm, 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 mm. I don't really know. Okay, here we go. Requests. There we are. Now I can see all of this. Do I just like pick someone to be a co-host or a speaker? Here, I'm going to pass this to. Okay, I really just don't know how to do this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really not like tech savvy. I'm realizing now that I did this space, but I think that maybe I just wanted to like rant a little bit. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. Sorry to be ridiculous. But anyways, that is the end of my rant. And I guess that what I will say in conclusion is thanks for everyone who has supported me and being independent, because I can't get fired twice. Sorry, I need to stop laughing, but it's a very serious topic. Rest in peace, Mary Fagan. I expect everybody every year to just keep her name active. We are not going to allow them to erase history. We're not going to allow them to call it a blood libel. These Frankist pedophiles are not going to get away with this. And that's why I'm just grateful that it had to happen today. And even though they took the post down, like Jewish campus, now I'm on you. You know what we need? You know how they have these like stupid groups? Stop anti Semitism. We need a group that's called Stop Pedophilia. And we just call out people that defend pedophiles. So it's just like straight up, like I will support it. Like, boom, stop pedophilia. Somebody comes in and is like, Jacob Frankton or Leo Frankton, stop pedophilia. Like the exact same mechanisms that ADL has been thugging people in the media, like we should be doing the exact same thing because I'm just getting sick of it. Anyways, I promise I'm done. Thanks for those of you guys that are supporting my independence on Locals. Locals.com if you want to support the show. ClubCandace.com if you want to support the show. Otherwise, just watch it because that's a great way to support the show. All right, guys. Bye.